In this video, I'm going to take you through a pick a card style tarot reading for the month of March and Pisces season. If you're watching this video outside of that time, don't worry, treat this like a timeless reading. And technically, I want to add that all readings are timeless. The messages transcend time and space. What matters more is when it shows up in your reality and how you take that as a sign that you're ready to hear the message. So this reading is timeless first and foremost, but we may pull on some Pisces elements. One more thing, I want to give a quick shout out to a recent collaboration that I worked on, and this was with Carmen Bello, who's the creator of the Joy app. This is an app geared towards self-love and spiritual development, and I made 2 guided meditations for this app, one to wake up to and one to fall asleep to. Beyond that, there's so much to do on the app. You can access her virtual oracle deck, which is so gorgeous. It's so aesthetically pleasing. And you can also receive guidance, energetic updates. You can get tools to align your energies, release emotions, and so much more. So I highly recommend it. This isn't sponsored, by the way. I just really like the app. So go check it out if you haven't already. Now let's go into the card meditation to get centered and grounded. For this, I'm going to ring my singing bowl 3 times. With each ring, take a deep breath in and a complete slow exhale out. With each breath, allow yourself to sink a little bit deeper into your body and connect to your heart center. Relax your face, relax the eyes, relax the jaw, drop the shoulders, relax the glutes, sink into your seat or the bed, and connect to your heart center, the space in the center of your chest. Connect to intuition, to feeling, to emotions. And from here, you can look at the 3 groups before you. For group 1, we have the light Seers deck. For group 2, we have the golden universal tarot. And for group 3, we have the Osho Sun tarot. Feel it out. Notice what stands out to you, which group your eyes are drawn to. And don't think too hard about it. Go with your gut instinct. If you're unsure, you can listen to. If you're unsure, you can listen to all 3 readings, and that's totally fine as well. once you've chosen your group, you can go down to the timestamps below and click on your reading, and I'll see you over there. We're going to start with group 1, the Light Seers deck. And first, I'm just going to shuffle, asking for your current energies, what you need to hear, and what may unfold moving forward. Let's begin. Group 1. Current energies. Group 1. Okay, group 1. I have your spread, and it looks very interesting. One thing I'm making a note of is how many wands there are. So there's a lot of fire energy with you. And it's interesting because normally for the current energies, what I pick up on are adversities, and then we see how that can transform moving forward. But with you, there's just like a burst of fire and fresh air and positivity. So that's new. Let's start with the first one. You have the Ace of Wands, and aces are always about new beginnings. When it's coupled with wand, then that's the beginning of creativity, of passion, drive, inspiration. So there's something creative spurring within you, and you're at the beginning of expressing this, allowing it to manifest and come into fruition. Tap into that creative energy. It may be showing up as a sense of restlessness, maybe, or passion, drive, a feeling of wanting to express yourself in maybe different ways than you did before, or in the form of a new creative project, a career venture. So just sort of notice how it's surfacing. So a lot of creative energy. And you have the sun. That's always, always so beautiful to see. And I'm sure you can sense it from this image, how confirmative this card is. And it's just this burst of positivity, of light, of knowing that you're provided for and taken care of. If you think about the sun and what it does for the earth, you get this kind of symbolism. It's all about feeling reassured, feeling provided for, feeling taken care of, and most importantly, feeling abundant and free. So this is really nice to see as your current energy. Now that I'm bringing attention to it, feel it even more. Really harness it, honor this expansion that you feel, because it's really beautiful. And then you have the Temperance card. Temperance is about integration. It's about a merging of energies, and you can see that sort of in the image. The angel stands between two opposing energies. We have the sun, then the moon, and he's integrating the two to create a sense of balance. And you are at a stage where you're doing the same. And if you're not, then you should be. This is something that you can start contemplating on and working with. So how can you harness the energy of temperance and integrate these very powerful energies, the sun and the Ace of Wands, in order to help yourself work through some of your inner doubts, inner battles, because there seems to still be a little bit of that in you in regards to the creative passion surfacing. So when I asked about what you need to hear, this card came out, and it's the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is somebody who's at the beginning of their creative venture. They have all of this drive and passion within them, and at the same time, they feel not completely prepared for what's to come, so they sometimes get swayed by the doubts of the mind and find themselves in this inner battle between passion and doubt, feeling not good enough, feeling like you don't have what it takes. So the Page of Wands really asks you to bring in some courage, some spunk, to dismiss that voice of doubt. At the same time, it encourages you to be mindful, to integrate, like the Temperance card, those doubts, so you're not avoiding them or turning a blind eye on them. You're also not giving in to them, but you're integrating those doubts in order to be more level-headed, more prepared for what's to come, to be rational and realistic, right? And see the ways in which you may be lacking and fill that void up. Then also trust in this creative passion that you have and let that move you forward. So I think the Page of Wands is a very wise card, because it tells us to remain with that creative energy, but at the same time be mature enough, emotionally mature enough to know where we may be a little bit lacking and fill that cup up. Then you have the Queen of Wands. So this is also something that came forward when I asked about what you need to hear. And the advice here is that you want to be as authentic as you possibly can. There's no space in this creative energy for masking or for inauthenticity. The only way to allow this creative energy to continue to percolate and expand is if you remain authentic. Authenticity is what nurtures that energy and what allows it to come into full fruition and form. So ask yourself, how can you remain authentic? What does authenticity look like to you? What does it mean to be authentic? What do you need to do in order to honor your authentic truth? And this goes very nicely with the cards that followed when I asked about, the future, if you do follow the advice of tarot. And you got the Death card. And what I love about the Light Seers deck is that it says death here, but it also says rebirth. When we die, we are reborn. And so it's like walking through a portal and arriving at a completely new perspective and awakening to your truth and seeing things from a new light. So this seems to be the death of the Seven of Swords, trickster energy, or the death of a false persona, false self that is no longer serving you. With the Seven of Swords, what I think about a lot is how society conditions us to believe that we can get our way in the world if we sell ourselves in an inauthentic way, right? If we put up a mask and we lie about certain things, they may be white lies, they may not hurt anybody, but at the end of the day, they're still lies and they feel icky on the inside. So that's really what I think about with the Seven of Swords. It's the mask that you put up that makes you feel compelled to lie about who you really are, to lie about your messaging, your truth, and this creative energy that wants to move forward. It's like we feel the need to modify this energy in order for it to be accepted by the world. And here, the message is that you don't need to modify this. You don't need to make it look like anything that has come before. You can do it your way. You can be authentic about expressing this energy every step of the way, because that's the authenticity is what nurtures it. If you are inauthentic, if you are modifying it or selling it short, then, this creative energy is then suppressed to a certain extent. It's not really expressing itself fully the way it needs to be expressed. And again, this might sound sort of abstract. What I'm talking about when I'm referring to this card is a creative venture, a project, a new career, maybe career move. Could apply to relationships as well. So something that you want to bring into your relationship, some action that you want to take in your personal life. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about creative energy, and not referring solely to the arts. That's one creative outlet, but as humans, we are always creative. You can be creative in simply taking action because you are creating your life. Your lifestyle is creative, right? So there's so many ways to be creative. Take it how you will. And following the death and rebirth, you're going to experience so much positive energy. The Ten of Cups is so beautiful. It's this feeling of complete appreciation and fulfillment and satisfaction. Imagine being this couple looking at your children and just admiring all the cups that you have. The cups represent positive emotions, so admiring how emotionally fulfilled you feel and just how much you have in your life. That's a beautiful energy that you're going to have access to once you allow this certain rebirth to happen for you. You may reprioritize some aspects of your life, and this is the Two of Pentacles. So you may reconsider some values and what's important to you and what you want to delegate more time to in your day-to-day life. That's going to leave some major positive consequences, as you're going to be a lot more clear about what matters to you, what's important, and what you want to see more of in your life. So in a sense, there's going to be this clarity about the direction you're moving forward in and the values and intentions that you need to harness in order to continue to move forward in that direction. Now I'm going to pull a card from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. Praise. simple message for you. Okay. It says, dance with life. Do something to change your energy. And what I feel compelled to say here is, if you ever feel stuck in this process, if you're confused about how to be authentic, or how to bring about that death and rebirth process, do things to change your energy. Allow yourself to be flexible with your routines, to step into what you really want to do deep down, right? Follow your energy, that creative spirit that's speaking within. So dance with life, be spontaneous, and that's going to help you with knowing the next steps. One more thing, I'm going to read you a poem from the Fortunate Poetry book by Kim Rashidi. Knight of Swords. Your thoughts, ideas, and actions move at a speed that you warmed up for. Nothing stands in your way, as long as you have you to depend on. Your course of action is a little unclear. Do isn't productive if you have no clue of the intent behind what you're trying to pursue. Take the time to think it out. You'll make it all the clearer your route. I see what you did there. I'm going to read the last line again. Take the time to think it out. You'll make it all the clearer your route. There we go. Oh, I just think that's so fitting for your reading. And I love what it says here. There we go. So if your intentions are unclear, then no amount of productivity can really get you to what you're pursuing. Your course of action needs to come from a deeper intention, from authenticity, right? So you have all of this energy and speed, but it needs to be grounded in deep intent and strong values of authenticity. And when you take time to think it out, when you experience that death and rebirth, then you'll make your route clear. Beautiful. All right, I'll leave that there. Thank you so much, Group 1. This reading reminds me a lot of one of the readings from my last tarot video. Let me know in the comments if you got that reading and got this one as well today. That'd be quite interesting. But anyways, it's always lovely hearing from you, and I'll see you very soon. Sending love. If you chose Group 2, the Golden Universal Tarot, then this reading is for you. So first I'm going to shuffle the deck and pull some cards for your current energies. Then look at what you need to hear right now and the current predictions if you were to follow Tarot's guidance. Let's get into it. Group 2, current energies. Okay, Group 2, let's get into your reading. First, we have your current energies, and the first card that came out for you was the Hierophant. What came to my mind immediately after seeing this card is the idea of systems and being systematic, having a routine and a schedule and expecting things at a certain deadline. That's sort of what came up. So what I'm sensing is you may be tackling this period of your life with a very orderly or maybe even strict schedule, and that's not a bad thing at all. Sometimes we really need that, and I think that's certainly the case for you, is this sort of system is working for you right now. The Hierophant tells us to honor structure and order in order to pursue a certain way of life, in order to make certain achievements, basically climb the ladder, whether that's a corporate ladder for you or any other sort of ladder. But at this time, if you follow a certain system, if you follow order and structure, that's really going to be beneficial for you. And I think with that, there's some waiting involved because, you have to keep at a certain routine until you see the results. So there's some waiting and patience involved, and that might be creating some doubts, some mental discomfort, or even chaos. May not feel too comfortable with all of this waiting and uncertainty. And what I would advise you to do with that then is to step into the energy of the Seven of Pentacles, which is all about reviewing, reflecting, and contemplating on what has worked and what didn't. So sort of doing an assessment of every step you've taken so far and what that's amounted to. This man is looking at his crops. He's not harvesting them prematurely. However, he is being observant and reflective about them. He's thinking to himself, okay, will this be a good harvest? Did I do everything I needed to do for this harvest? So, and he's reviewing so that he can be better next time, right? And that's sort of the attitude we want to take on when we are being patient, is that with patience, you can have enough space, a big enough container for reflection and contemplation. And I think if you were to direct your energy there, then you would perhaps experience less of this mental headache that the Nine of Swords often represents. This energy is like being up 4 a.m, not being able to sleep because you just have so much on your mind. You're so overwhelmed. You have doubts and stress and chaos and just random thoughts. And there's just a lot of mind energy. As you see, there are 9 swords over here in this card. So the advice here is to direct some of this mental energy towards reflection, contemplation. And that will make the waiting, the, repetition of this system more worthwhile. And then I asked about what you need to hear. And first you got the Chariot and the Star. It's really interesting to see these two energies paired together. I'll start with the Chariot. The Chariot is the sort of energy where you can be pulled in various directions. The sphinxes represent that. We live in this world of duality, and you're either pulled to one opposite, one extreme, or the other, right? Hence the black and white. And so you're on this chariot, it's forward moving, it's fast, but at the same time, you need to control the chariot so you're not being swayed in both directions. So there's this sense of you got to trust yourself enough that you can move forward, that you can take advantage of this fast forward moving energy and not be swayed by extremes. And we do that, we have that sort of trust by renewing our faith and being hopeful and feeling connected. So I think that's where the star card comes in. The star card to me is about synchronicity. It's about connecting to the transcendent aspect of reality, the universe, and this next level sort of order that doesn't make complete sense to the limited human mind, right? Synchronicities don't make logical sense, but they do happen. Carl Jung called them meaningful coincidences. They happen and they mean something, and they renew our faith and help us remain faithful in going the right direction. So allow yourself to pay attention to signs and synchronicities. Maybe for you, that's angel numbers. Or it is certain messages that you hear from people, or the radio, or social media. Pay attention to these little signs in order to feel a sense of direction. And at the same time, embrace this fast, forward moving energy of the chariot. Recognize that you're not always going to remain on the right path. Sometimes you'll fall, sometimes you'll be swayed by either sides of duality. But as long as you keep going, you learn to master the chariot and follow synchronicities, and that's going to take you to where you want to go. All right. And lastly, here's what's going to be possible for you if you follow the advice of tarot. Let's start with the Knight of Cups. Oh, I think this is just so beautiful. The Knight of Cups is somebody who offers something to you. You're going to receive an offering. This can be in the form of a relationship, a friendship, maybe a job or a home, any sort of offer. You're going to receive an offer. And I would say this is the chariot and the star paying off. When you can remain fast and furious and still follow signs and synchronicities, then you eventually arrive at this sort of beautiful synchronicity where you meet the right people at the right time, at the right place. So you're going to be offered something, and that will make you feel a sense of security and abundance, the ability to tap into the archetype of the King of Pentacles. This is somebody who is very grounded in their resources. The King of Pentacles is somebody who feels abundant, and he's also very practical about his abundance, that he can support others in their pursuit of abundance as well. So he's somebody who's reliable and practical. And this is an archetype that I see you tapping into, moving forward. You're going to feel a lot more secure in not just the form of maybe finance, but also the form of other resources, right? Because when we talk about resources, it's not just money, it's maybe the home that you've kept, maybe your relationships, your network, your environment, your health. The Pentacles is about the 3D, the aspects of life that's grounded and rooted in practicality. So that's what I would invite you to think about. You can tap into, more stability and security in regards to your resources in this physical reality. And I think that's also why it's so fitting that you have the Sun card as well. Imagine yourself as this child on the back of this white horse that represents purity. The child is naked, he's innocent and also pure. You have this red drapery that represents vitality. You have the sun nurturing the sunflowers behind the boy. So there's all this life. The sun is nurturing the earth and everything is just alive. So I want you to tap into that sort of positivity of vitality, purity, innocence, and liveliness. And this is the ultimate confirmation card. So if you're looking for happiness, love, you can have it. And that's what this card means. So I think it's just so beautiful that you had these 3 cards paired together and offering security, stability, resources, abundance, and life, vitality. It's powerful. Now, I'm going to pull a card from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. And let's see what message it has for you. Oh, there we go. How fitting. It says, leap. You go first. The universe will catch you. Beautiful. I was actually just talking about something along the lines of this with my family earlier. My mom had a dream where she saw people falling off a cliff. And I offered this one interpretation, which is, we get so scared of taking that leap that we overwhelm ourselves with all of this doubt and fear. We're so afraid of going that next step and leaping. But this is a spiritual saying. I forgot which master it comes from, but surrendering or taking that leap is like falling at first, right? And that's scary to the human, to the ego, because we fear what we're going to land on and crash into. But then at a certain point of that surrendering process, and we're still falling, we realize that there is no ground beneath. There's nothing to crash into. And so we just begin to enjoy this free fall. And that's sort of the message of the Chariot and the Star is take that leap. You're going to be in constant free fall, but that's okay. Surrender to the synchronicities and the signs. The universe has you. That's such a powerful message. Okay, one last thing. Now I'm going to pick a poem from the Fortunate Poetry Book by Kim Rashidi. So you got the Ten of Cups. Admire the alignment you're in, whether at home, love, work, or school. Challenges were faced or are to be conquered with ultimate symmetry. So raise your glass in cheers of who you are and follow yourself into opportunities that light up your life. Alright, group 2, that was your reading. I hope that it was helpful. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you very soon. Sending love. If you chose group 3, the Osho deck, then this reading is for you. I'm going to begin by pulling some cards for your current energies, what you need to hear, and what's going to happen moving forward. Then I'll give you the entire reading. Okay, group 3, let's begin with your current energies. This is really interesting. So the first card that we have is healing. What I really notice in this image is the color blue. It's watery, and so it makes me think of surrender and flow. Sometimes the healing just happens, it's necessary. It is what is, and there's nothing you can really do about it. And that's sort of what I sense right now, is that you're in this period of intense healing, and there's some flow and surrender that's necessary here. You can't really push it aside. It's like this is the entire theme of what is happening right now. And I also love the hands in this image. One hand over the belly, your instincts, your gut. Another hand over the mind, your rationality, your neocortex. So I think that's really interesting. So it's mending this mind-body connection and how information is interpreted from the body to the mind. That's what I think of. What you may be healing from is probably showing up currently in the form of projections. Is there an aspect of yourself that you've disowned, which you've been projecting onto other people? It's oftentimes what we judge in others is also what we judge in ourselves. What we deem unacceptable in others is also what we deem unacceptable in ourselves. And so that's usually the part of us that we suppress, that we avoid, that we hide from, that we turn a blind eye on. So ask yourself that question, and I know it's a hard question, it's a hard ask, because it requires you to be brutally honest with yourself. And with projections, there's often this charge, this emotional charge that really wants to feel right. You want to feel righteous. But I know that if you're watching this, you also have the emotional capacity and wisdom to go deeper than that, to look beyond the ego and tap into some deeper awareness of what's actually going on. And I love this imagery. What this is really saying is when we develop awareness, we're able to unveil these layers that have been obstructing our view from what is really true. So when you let go of those layers, you arrive at the truth that you are a Buddha, and so is the other, the one that you may have rejected or judged. So are they. Then you can see them for who they really are, for their humanity, right? You can also see that within yourself and accept the part of you that you judged. And all of this is really shadow work. So if you've been interested in shadow work, work on your projections. It's the most fascinating area, in my opinion, when it comes to shadow work. How can you bring in enough awareness to peel away those layers of the onion until you arrive at the truth, the Buddha? And now, when I asked about what you need to hear, you got these cards. First, we have isolation coupled with participation. How beautiful is that? Oh, and I also want to show you the next one. We are the world. Ooh, yeah, I'm getting goosebumps. That's so beautiful. So I see this as a progression. We first begin with the pain of isolation, of feeling misunderstood maybe, emotional heartbreaks that you haven't completely healed from, that have hardened you over time. In the Rider-Waite's Tarot, this is the Three of Swords. And in the original tarot image, we see a man with a heart above his head that has been stabbed by 3 swords. So it's that sort of feeling. There's so much pain here in your heart that needs to be processed and resolved, that needs to be felt, because only by feeling can we initiate a healthy thawing of this ice, right? And when we're hardened like this, we then isolate. We then push people away. So how can you initiate this gentle thawing? By allowing yourself to feel the repressed pain deep inside. And maybe one way to do that is to actively participate in, maybe social gatherings, or showing up to family events, being with your loved ones, your friends, calling up a friend, calling up your mom. How can you actively participate with others in order to rewrite this very lonely story? And if you're not ready for this, this can come as an outcome of feeling your emotions, feeling that pain, and truly thawing that ice. And I think We Are the World over here just further emphasizes the need for participation and seeing the truth of oneness, that everything you experience out here is a reflection of yourself. Everyone that shows up in your field of awareness is a teacher for you to gain deeper awareness of yourself. There is this oneness. We are all different expressions of consciousness sprouting up here and there, and we can all learn from each other, because at the end of the day, we are all consciousness. So, yeah, I think that's a beautiful message. Then you have guidance. So if you work with spirit guides or, guardian angels, turn towards them. Turn towards these archetypes and deities that you connect well with. You can also, from time to time, ask yourself, what would my higher self do? What would my ancestors want me to do? Right? Ask questions that bring back awareness. What would my best self do? What would my ideal self do? What would my future self do? So yeah, there are a lot of questions that you can ask to receive guidance from within. And when you follow the advice of the tarot, you're going to naturally experience a slowing down. And I really like the turtle as a symbol in this one because that tells us that slowing down doesn't really mean losing anything. In fact, it enriches your life to slow down because in the story of the rabbit and the turtle wins the race. So when you're able to slow down, you're actually able to achieve so much more, to see things with clarity, to live intentionally, to live with integrity, to live with awareness, right? So all of that can be achieved through a sense of slowing down and calmness, stillness. So that's in the cards for you. And we also have creativity. How beautiful. In the original Rider-Waite, this card is the Empress. And the Empress does represent creativity because it is our feminine side. By the way, when I say feminine, I don't mean the gender, I don't mean female, I mean yin energy. And I know that not everybody understands the yin and yang, and that's why I use feminine. But it's this, it's one side of the play of opposites, one side of duality that we experience. This is yin energy, energy of the deep unconscious, the collective unconscious. So what we sort of connect to when we transcend the ego mind. We connect to something larger than ourselves, to pure creative energy that comes from source, that comes from life itself. What comes to mind when I see this is you transcending the ego mind and connecting to something so much larger than yourself, what Carl Jung called the collective unconscious, and what you can call the universe, God, source energy, or life, just pure life, right? So I see you connecting to that in a much more integral way. And lastly, because you're going to connect to all that is, you're going to feel enough safety and support and protection to go on your own adventure and explore and do things the way you want to do it, to have fun and to experiment with life. So sort of embodying your inner child and really reconnecting to play, to fun, to curiosity and open-mindedness. And I love that for you. It's so beautiful. Now I'm going to pull a message from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. Wow, So you got Pleiades, double mission, channeling, and uplifting humanity. So know that the work you're doing here serves not only you, but everyone else. There's always a ripple effect. When we can step into more consciousness, then we begin to see it reflected in people around us. So really remember that you're not only doing this work for your own well-being, but for the well-being of this world, of this planet. We all need more of this. So I'm so happy that you got this message. One last thing, I'm going to read a poem from Fortunate by Kim Rashidi to close off this reading. So you got the Page of Cups. Do you have what it takes to look within, even if you don't know where to begin? Explore the depths of this new spark, offer some patience, and it will blossom with luck. Signs swarm all around you, but it is up to you to claim them as found. Beautiful. So the last bit really stands out to me. Signs swarm all around you. These projections are all around you because they're teachers, they're signs. But it's up to you to claim them as they are and learn from them. Beautiful. Group 3, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that this reading has been helpful. Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you very soon. Sending love.